Much. There's another survivor whose story we want to share with you. David Hogg was in school when the shooting started. His father is a retired FBI agent, so he recognized immediately that this was a gun. This wasn't a firecracker. This wasn't a drill. His teacher ushered him into a closet as the shooting was taking place. He thought to himself, if he and his classmates die in this closet, what would their stories be? What would we know about them? So here's what he did.
So right now we're in a school, an active shooter. It's not a drill, and it's currently...
Hello?
It's 2:52.
Where are you right now?
I heard one gunshot, and we thought it was a drill initially, but it's not.
So what's your message?
I really don't think there's anything new to say, but there shouldn't have to be, because if you looked around this closet and saw everyone just hiding together, you would know that this shouldn't be happening anymore, and that it doesn't deserve to happen to anyone.
Stoneman Douglas survivor and student journalist, journalist, David Hogg is here with me now. David, first of all, we're so happy that you are here and that you're alive and well. Thank you very much for stopping by.
No problem. I just want people to hear that this is unacceptable and we can't let this continue happening. We've seen far too many.
So just take me back to that moment. You are in this closet, your teacher ushers you and your classmates into this closet, and you thought to yourself, if you should die here, and your classmates, what do you want us, the world, to know about them? So you pulled out your camera.
I pulled out my camera on my phone, and I wanted the world to know what it's like to be in this situation. I don't want people getting used to this, because this is not normal. There's no way this can ever be the new normal. But it's just unacceptable and deplorable. It shows the true state that this country's gotten to, and what I really wanted people to see in that, if I did die, was I wanted them to take inspiration, take their own action, because even if I was no longer around, and my soul had passed on, the echoes of our stories would continue on and save thousands of other children's lives.
Were you scared?
Partially. We really thought this was a drill throughout much of it, surprisingly, because teachers and students had been talking about having a possible Code Red drill, which is an active shooter drill, for quite some time, and that's what we thought this was. But once we started seeing the headlines, we realized this was anything but a drill. This was life or death.
You've talked about the need for discussion, wherever you stand on this issue, to take place. What do you want people to know about what you experienced and what they should take away from your experiences and that of those survivors and those young lives who were taken?
I want people to picture themselves as children, because really what all of us are just grown-up children. And picture themselves like many of these 14-year-olds and 17 and 18-year-olds, what it was like when they were that age and what they would have been thinking in that situation. It's unimaginable. And for the people that say, well, we should arm teachers and everything, for people that are critical of what anybody's done here, I ask them, have they been in this situation where there's just absolute chaos, gunshots raining through classrooms, and just sheer terror?
Sheer terror. What would you like to see happen?
I want to see a discussion. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. I don't care if you're an independent. I want to see a discussion on whichever way you stand on this, because we don't have to go one way on this. We need a multifaceted attack to prevent these things from ever happening again. I respect everybody's opinion. I agree with both sides, honestly.
You do?
To some extent, because I agree that we do need more mental health care in America, but I also agree that we need possibly more gun safety laws. Just to ensure that something like this doesn't happen again, because if we keep getting used to this type of thing, it's going to become the new norm, and the new norm will be the death of our future and the death of our children.
Do you think that we've normalized these horrific shootings?
Do I think, or do I know, is the better question. I know we've become normalized to this. The fact that there have been 18, and I watch the news every day and have only heard of a select few, really echoes and resonates with the current state, the broken state that America is in. And that we need to take a long, hard look and realize we must change if we want to save our future.
And to be clear, as I stated when we were introducing you, your dad's a former retired FBI agent. You have shot weapons.
Yeah.
You've shot an automatic rifle?
Not an automatic, but an assault rifle.
An assault rifle, you have.
Not too unlike, it was an MP5, not too, as far as I know. I'm not too familiar with guns because I'm a pacifist.
Right.
But, well, I wasn't at the time, obviously, but... yeah, that's how I really knew. And my dad's education in these type of events I think really helped me save my life and possibly some of those around me, because I was able to calm some of the other people down around me, because the teachers don't know what's going on. The students don't know what's going on. It's absolute chaos. And the important thing to remember in these situations, for anybody unlucky enough to be in one, and sadly enough, there is a solid chance that there's going to be another mass shooting, at least this year, unless we take action. Just know that you need to remain calm, and if it comes between you and them, you have to fight. You really do. And that's what I'm trying to do here today, is I'm fighting for all of my fellow Eagles at Stoneman Douglas that are either too afraid to speak, too shook to speak. I'm speaking out because I don't want this to be just another mass shooting. I want this to be the last mass shooting at schools. Last
question for you, David. We understand the president is going to come to Florida. If you could talk to him, what would you say?
Please. We accept your condolences, but, well, at least I accept your condolences. I can't speak on behalf of the 17 families that have had their children slaughtered in a school. But what I would say to him is, don't lie. Take actual action, and don't succumb to lobbyists and different interest groups that want to skew it the other way. Because what we need is a reform on a level of whatever the American people want. I think what we really need is a multifaceted attack, as I said earlier. Because regardless, we can't just test out one system and if it doesn't work, blame the other side. That's only going to divide us more than we already are. We need to do both things at the same time and become true Americans and not political parties.
David Hogg, you are a survivor of the Stoneman Douglas massacre, but you're also a journalist, and you're my peer, and hopefully one day you'll be a colleague. Thank you very much for coming by. We appreciate it. There you have it, Anne-Marie. Very strong words for a young man, only 17 years old, who lived through something that you and I couldn't.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes, you can. Sorry.
To the American public, when you ask what you can do, I personally don't care what your opinion is on this situation, whether you think it's mental health care that needs to be reformed or gun reform. Whatever it is, speak out for it. Go to your congressman today. Write a letter to them. Call them. That's how we're going to prevent the next mass tragedy. Because right now, if we get accustomed to it, nothing's going to change. More children are going to die, and with those children, so will our future.
David, thank you very much for talking to us. David lived through something, Anne-Marie, that you or I can never understand, what it's like to be in a mass shooting incident, and what we're now learning about what this individual did in preparing to carry out this heinous act is something that our Manuel Bojorquez is looking into.